If you're a mom thinking about a PhD, you've probably heard this. Pick one. Either be a good mom or do a doctorate. That finishing your thesis means missing their childhood, or being present at home means failing as a researcher. I don't agree, but I also won't pretend it's easy. Because here's what nobody tells you. You can do a PhD with kids. But the version of a PhD you imagine, the one where you live in the lab 14 hours a day and publish papers constantly, that's probably not your reality. And you know what? That's okay. Today, I'm going to give you my honest answer to, can you really do a PhD with kids? Not what the productivity gurus say, not what the girl boss Instagram posts claim. My real answer, from the messy middle of doing it right now. Hi, I'm Habiba. I'm a cancer research PhD student and a mom. And I'll be very honest with you from the start. I do not have a perfect system. I am not waking up at 4 a.m., batch cooking for a month, and writing 3 papers a week. Most days, I feel like I'm surviving and building the system as I go. Some days, my system is literally keep everyone alive, answer one important email, and collapse into bed. But that's exactly why I wanted to start this channel, because if you're also in the messy middle or thinking about jumping in, you don't need someone who has it all figured out. You need someone who is in it with you. Someone who will tell you the truth about what this actually looks like. Not the Instagram highlight reel, the real, unglamorous, sometimes chaotic reality. So let's talk about it. Here's what being a PhD mom really feels like for me. I'll sit down to write, finally get into the flow. My thoughts are coming together. I'm making actual progress. And then daycare calls. My child is sick. Or I'll go to bed thinking I didn't do enough for my PhD today. And then I'll wake up thinking I didn't do enough for my child yesterday. On paper, I'm doing a PhD. In my head, it sometimes feels like I'm failing at both. Maybe you know that feeling too. When you're working, you feel guilty about your kids. When you're with your kids, you feel guilty about your research. You watch those productivity videos where people are working 60, 80 hours a week. Meanwhile, your day ends at school pickup. You see other PhD students staying late in the lab, attending every seminar, publishing constantly, and you think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not disciplined enough. Maybe I'm not serious enough about research. For a long time, I thought the problem was me. But then I realized something. The problem isn't me. And it's not you either. The problem is that most academic systems are built for people who either have no kids or have someone else doing most of the childcare. We're trying to copy a model that assumes long, uninterrupted workdays, evenings and weekends free for writing, no one getting sick at home every few weeks. That's not our reality. So when we try to follow that model, we feel broken. But we're not broken. The model is. So let's answer the question. Can you really do a PhD with kids? My honest answer is yes, but not in the way people usually imagine a PhD. You probably won't be the person who lives in the lab 14 hours a day. You might move slower than some of your peers. Your progress may come in waves instead of straight lines. Some weeks you'll get a ton done. Other weeks your child will be sick or teething or going through a phase, and you'll barely write a paragraph. And that's okay. Because slower does not mean weaker. Different does not mean less serious. Here's what I've learned so far. And I'm still learning. You can do a PhD with kids if you're willing to let go of what you thought a PhD would look like. If you can build systems around your real life, not someone else's fantasy schedule, if you have some kind support, not perfect support, but someone who can help, even if it's just a few hours a week. And if you can be flexible and kind to yourself when things don't go according to plan, because they won't, often. But here's the thing that nobody tells you, and I wish someone had told me. Having kids during your PhD can actually give you something valuable. Perspective. When my supervisor gives harsh feedback on my draft, it stings. But then I go home to a child who thinks I'm the most amazing person in the world just for existing. That helps when experiments fail or my analysis doesn't work out. It's frustrating. But then I remember I'm raising a tiny human, I'm contributing to cancer research. Both of these things matter. That helps too. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's possible. And I'm saying you don't have to choose between being a good mom and being a serious researcher. You can be both, just not in the way the academic system tells you to be. So, what actually helps? Let me share a few things that are working for me right now. And I say right now because honestly, what works this week might not work next month. I'm constantly adapting. First, I plan around reality, not fantasy. I stopped planning like I have 10 free hours in a day. Now I look at my week and I ask, when do I actually have time after daycare drop off until pickup? That's my window. Nap time? That's a bonus, not guaranteed. I plan around real constraints, daycare times, my energy levels, when my partner can take over, not ideal hours, real hours. Second, I work in short blocks with one clear task. I've stopped chasing 8 perfect hours of deep work. Instead, I focus on 60 to 120-minute blocks where I pick one specific task, not work on dissertation, too vague, not finish chapter 3, too big, but revise the introduction paragraph or run this one analysis or outline section 2. One thing, if I get that done, the day counts. Some days that feels like nothing, but it adds up. One task per day is 5 tasks per week. That's 20 tasks per month. That's progress. Third, I'm lowering the perfect mom bar. Some days dinner is simple. Toast and scrambled eggs, that's dinner. Some days the house is messy. Toys everywhere, that's fine. Because I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be present and keep moving forward. Fourth, I'm building support, even when it's imperfect. Some weeks my partner steps up and takes the morning routine so I can write. Other weeks I ask a friend to watch my child for 2 hours so I can finish something critical. I don't have a full-time nanny. I don't have grandparents who live nearby and can help every day. It's not glamorous. It's not what you see in those day in the life of a PhD student videos, but it's real and it's keeping me in the game. If you're thinking about doing a PhD with kids, here are a few questions to ask yourself. And I'm not asking these to discourage you. I'm asking because I want you to go in with your eyes open. First, why do you want this PhD? If it's because you feel like you should or because of external pressure, I'd say reconsider. This is too hard to do for anyone but yourself. But if you have a burning question you need to answer, or you want to contribute something meaningful to your field, that passion will sustain you through the hard moments. Second, do you have some kind of support? Not perfect support, not a full-time nanny and a chef and a personal assistant, but do you have someone who can help? A partner? Family? Friends? Affordable childcare? You cannot do this completely alone. I've tried. It doesn't work. Third, can you accept a different pace? You will move slower than some of your peers. Your timeline might shift. Can you be okay with that? Can you let go of comparing yourself to people who don't have kids? If you can answer yes to these, then yes, I believe you can do this. And if you decide it's not the right season for you right now, that's valid too. You're not a failure for protecting your mental health or your family. Right now, I'm still in the middle of my PhD, still figuring things out, still having weeks where everything falls apart, but that's exactly what this channel is going to be. I'm not here to tell you I have it all figured out. I'm here to figure it out with you. This channel is going to be honest breakdowns of what's working and what isn't. Simple systems you can adapt to your life. Real talk about the guilt, the chaos, the wins, and the failures. I want this to feel like sitting with a friend who gets it. Not someone judging you, not someone with a perfect life telling you to just try harder. Because that's not helpful and that's not real. If that sounds like what you need, subscribe. I'm going to be posting regularly about how to plan your week when life is unpredictable, how to inch forward on your thesis during busy seasons, how to handle the guilt, how to communicate with your supervisor, all of it. The messy, real, unglamorous parts of being a PhD mom. So, can you really do a PhD with kids? Yes, but you'll do it your way, not their way. And I'll be here doing it alongside you. In the comments, tell me, are you in the thinking about it stage or the deep in the trenches stage? We'll figure this out together. Welcome to Scholar Mom Systems. I'll see you in the next video.